So yes, like I was just saying, brought to Tibet by Atisha, the Indian yogi, and then Geshe Chakawa wrote that down, translated it most likely from Sanskrit into Tibetan, which is based off of Sanskrit. So it says, uh, first train in the preliminaries, and there can be many types of preliminaries. Remember, this is considered a Mahayana text, but whenever you get Dzogchen right, you can plug into anything. So anything else will be compatible, right? So from a Dzogchen vantage point, the 59 slogans look really cool, actually. You can sort of decipher them and things like that. So any questions? I don't want to go over Nundro. You can look that up pretty easy too, hundreds of thousands of prostrations and mantras. Any questions about the preliminaries? And remember, your preliminary can be the fact that you just want to get out of depression, out of these constant anxieties. Maybe you've had serious situations in your life or just some kind of fire under your butt that has motivated you to become free. In my opinion, that's a good enough preliminary for Dzogchen. Long as you're not too distracted and overly fixated on things, I think you'll be fine. So the preliminaries are the preliminaries. And then the main practice. So we're on to the second mind slogan here. It says, consider all things and events as dreamlike. Doesn't that sound Dzogchenish, yet classified as Mahayana? Well, third slogan, examine the nature of unborn awareness. And that's basically talking about what we've had as an indirect theme lately of looking into the thought as you're having it. If you want to get to, like Mo and I were talking about, and again, sorry for mispronouncing, um, basically, the idea is there and it's very captivating and it leads people to end their lives and end other people's lives and do lots of harmful stuff to themselves and others and to the environment. And you're constantly sort of beating your head up against the wall when you're stuck in beliefs and ideas and fanaticism based on thoughts, extremes essentially. When we hold on to beliefs, we identify with those beliefs, and it's a difficult game to play. So, an awareness holder, somebody who wants to be free, will look into the nature of that thought that they're having. So, if I have a thought that um, all people from Canada are bad people or something like that, which obviously could never be true, but if I have that thought and it's really driving me crazy, makes me want to go drive up to Canada and cuss somebody out or something. Well, before I make the drive, before I make the trip, I could look into the thought as I'm having it. Just use awareness and let awareness kind of cut through that thought and then see, wow, where's that thought and who's holding it? And now that I looked at it, it's gone, and that hate goes with it, right? And then we can come back to our natural kindness and compassion, thankfully. So, looking into nature of thoughts, to me, that's what examining the nature of unborn awareness is. Looking into the watcher, the witness, the one who feels like there's a reference point, that sense felt, as it reemerges within space-like awareness. So it says, let even the antidote be freed in its own place. Rest in the alaya, the essence. So the alaya is the space itself. Now we were talking about everyone has their own mind earlier, and um, thankfully we're recording this so our dear friend Ozal can hear too. Um, I'd venture to say that safely we can say that you have your own mind, I have my own mind, but we have a shared space, the Dharmakaya, known as the mother of all the Buddhas, right? And that shared space could be considered God or whatever, and things like that. But I may be going out on a far limb here by trying these speculations. Um, it's so difficult because typically the teachings say ultimate truth is beyond singularity or multiplicity, but at the same time, paradoxically, You don't suggest at any time that your mind dissolves into nothingness or dissolves into oneness. If we make any of those assertions or start believing those kinds of things, and it's not that we believe that we have our own mind. It's just that look at where we are right now. Look at where the beliefs are right now. They're in our own mind. They always have been. Everything that's ever happened, everything that ever appeared and will appear has never left our mind. And does that overlap with other minds? Yeah, it's concentric in that way. And a great nexus of ineffability. But if Buddha Shakyamuni got enlightened, we would have all gotten enlightened if we had the same mind. Okay? Any questions, comments about that? And I'm not the only stickler about it. It's a major point in Dzogchen that we kind of get that part right, so that you don't ever abandon your own mind, your own refuge, your own guru. So, very cool Lojong sayings here. I really love these. Rest in the alaya, rest in empty space, right? And cognizance free of contraction. So between sessions, be a conjurer of illusions. In the two, giving and taking alternately. Anybody remember what giving and taking is referring to? It doesn't mean you go give somebody money, then you take it back from them. Tong Lin, good job, Ropa. Yeah, Joe, go ahead. I think Ropa beat you.
Same thing, but he said it before.
Yeah, so we're taking all the affliction, all the suffering from beings, allowing it to change, right? And then giving that. Yeah. It says giving and taking, yeah. But it should be taking and giving. Although there could be more to it, but generally Tonglen is like that. Breathing in, changing, breathing out, illuminating their afflictions, leaving luminous Buddhahood there. Okay, so these two are to be mounted on the breath. 3 objects, 3 poisons, and 3 sources of virtue. In all activities, train by applying slogans. Begin the process of taking with yourself. You see, it starts with taking. So the third point of mind training is transforming adversity into the path of enlightenment. Ooh, we like that topic, don't we? So it says, when all the world is filled with evil, transform adversity into the path of enlightenment. Drive all blames into one. You see, that's a difficult thing. It's kind of radical responsibility for everyone. Go ahead, Sandra. Were you trying to speak? Observing only, except for when he's interrupting. All right. Well, anybody want to speak on any of this stuff so far? Drive all blames to one. That's radical, but I'd say do that on the inner level. It's your little secret that everything that's happening in my life is a co-emergence of my mind. So it's on me in a way. It's not really about blaming. It's more saying don't blame others for stuff. Take a kind of responsibility for it. But on the outer, you may still have to handle things like, who stole my dog or something, right? You have to go find the person, blame them, and get your dog back. So this isn't about getting totally disoriented at the surface because you're just lying down and letting people beat you. Right? We wouldn't want to just be like that. Although the Bodhisattva path is pretty freaking radical. It does say stuff like, even if somebody was to cut off my arms, and I would still give it to them. And I don't know if we have too many Dharma practitioners to waste right now to do that kind of thing. Maybe back then, a town of Dharma practitioners, you could give up an arm or a leg here and there. But I don't know these days. So, but they do have good prosthetics now, robotic prosthetics and stuff. So maybe if that's your thing. So it says now, meditate on the great kindness in our mothers and one life or another. And even when you get in fights and disagreements and things like that, it's a kind of family relationship, and you're still getting wisdom from those interactions. So every being is really sort of being kind to you. And then it says, meditating on delusory perceptions as the four kayas. Anybody remember the fourth kaya? We typically talk about the three in here.
The Rupa Kaya?
Yes, nice.
I don't remember what that one actually is.
It's a combination of nirmana and sambhoga. So, is the unsurpassable shunyata protection? Oh yeah, meditating on delusory perceptions as the four kayas is the unsurpassable shunyata protection. What does shunyata mean? Emptiness. Very nice. Yeah, you all are getting your Dharma educations, that's for sure. So how can emptiness be a protection? We talk about that a lot, though, don't we? Keep it innocent, keep it compassionate, keep it honest, and you'll have a natural protection there. And then the fourfold practice is the best of methods. Whatever you encounter, apply the practice. Oh, that one might be challenging. Who knows the fourfold practice? Last quiz question. What was you got? I forgot what that acronym was. Torture life, but equanimity must be in there. I'm pretty sure it's a reference to the four Mahabrahmas, right? Thoughts, emotions, mind, environment. Oh, the four foundations of mindfulness. Yeah, I think it's the what is that in English usually translated to? The four indestructible kindnesses or something like that. Four immeasurables. Thank you, Merlot. Funny, I knew the Sanskrit Pali, but not the English. Okay. Crazy brain. Well, we'll stop there. I think this is a wonderful little text to go through. We've reached the top of the hour here. And joy, compassion, love, and equanimity. Yeah, you got it. And those are extremely favored throughout Sutrayana. Now remember, according to the Nyingma classification system, Sutrayana would include the Bodhisattva yana. So you have the Shravaka yana of renunciation, taking lots of vows, and the Vinaya, but you also have the Mahayana Bodhisattva vows and Prajaparamita, 1825 and 100,000 lines, right? And then the commentary on those of Vasubandhu and etc. to really sort of quantify that Bodhisattva yana, even though all of this is like a basket and weaves together anyway. Okay? So technically, I think Atisha's 59 slogans, he just went rogue and decided to do his own thing. And I see Dzogchen in here. So it gets classified as Mahayana, but I'm seeing Dzogchen, and I think you guys are too. All right. So that's it for me, everybody. I think we'll take our time with this one, especially since you can. Yes, we can. Yes, you can put the room in there that we can meet in. Okay. And Alexander, we can meet after the session. So, um, as far as this text, though, it's really nice because it grounds us back. Going through some of the treasuries and things like that can begin to get really heavy, but this is nice and simple, pithy slogans that we can apply and remember if we want to. Okay, so are there any final comments, questions, sharing before we close out then? Yes, you're already unmuted.
Yeah, I have a question. I was thinking about one thing. When you start 7-point mind training, you said something about taking in the black smoke and on hum, and and they should be stayed in the throat chakra and with hum. You go out with your compassion and when you love. This is the first time I heard that technique from you. Because normally I
I
do it
didn't
as
say the black smoke, but I didn't say the black smoke.
okay, but you say something. What do you say?
I said you visualize in whichever way, all their suffering, and then you take that in because I stay away from getting too specific because I don't know what you're visualizing. Sometimes they tell you grime and whatever. I also try to stay away from black and white dichotomies if I can, and I don't like to fit things into those binaries sometimes. But anyway, and that's nothing you have to do or anything like that. I'm just saying that's how I know I didn't say it was black smoke, but. So you can, and it gives you the freedom to visualize what you want there, right? And in Dzogchen, there wouldn't be any visualization. You kind of feel right now there's somebody in your life that's suffering. There are beings around us in this collective that are suffering, and that feeling itself gets taken in. It doesn't stay at the throat. It comes in a microcosmic orbit, a nice flow out of the heart space, if you want to locate. And then what you're leaving over is pure enlightenment. That's all you want for them, right? So it can all happen in one breath, just taking and giving. All that's happening in one breath. Can you believe it? And then maybe somebody is stressing you at work and or you go to your family dinners, why are you breathing so loud, honey?
Thank you.
Just converting you into enlightenment, Mom. For me, grocery stores, that's one of my things. I'm incredibly overwhelmed sometimes by lots of stuff going on at once, right? So, well, not so much anymore, but going into the grocery store, you just breathe it all in, let it change into peace, and forget about it. Okay. Any other sharings going on then? Well, let me just say, they do have Togya instructions with black smoke and things like that. There, I think that's why you thought of it, because you probably heard it before. That's pretty standard, actually. So if any of you want different Tonglen, not Togya, uh, if you want Tonglen instructions, there are many beautiful instructions out there for Tonglen.
Yeah, but I want to follow your tradition.
then it's one breath. That's it. Take in whatever's here. Start with yourself, like Atisha says. Let it change and come back. Clear your browser history. Allow yourself to be fresh. Sometimes you have to forgive yourself. Sometimes you have to forgive others to allow that echoing out, to allow your equilibrium again. And here you are, nice and free. Okay. Anyone else have any final thoughts before we close out then? All right. You all are getting amazing level of education, Dharma education. The outer, inner, and secret is going very well for a lot of you, if not all of you. And again, I'm humbled to be the one hosting these things and guiding the way through. Very happy people are taking a liking to self-liberation and the view itself. Just very easy, light, nothing to do, nothing. You don't have to sacrifice anything. Don't stress yourself out. Don't pressure yourself. Just really allow that heart, that naturalness to blossom out. Continue to allow yourself to blossom, right? Okay. So we'll take a moment of silence. There are beings in this very presence that are suffering, and any good that we have stirred up, any benefit, we dedicate it all to them. Thank you, everybody.